go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. You have all you need, it's all inside of you. Just close your eyes and breathe and know that you are safe. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. No need to make a plan, your heart will be your compass. Just lift your sails in faith and trust that you will arrive. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Float into the mystery. Float into the mystery.
Thank you, Mr. Christopher Frecci and the gentlemen of the band. Thank you. We will certainly let go and flow into a wonderful morning together. Good morning, beautiful people of the Center for Spiritual Living. What a delight to see you. I'm sitting there watching people come in and also watching people arrive on Facebook as they're watching us at the same time that we're experiencing the service together, also on YouTube and also on our website. So welcome, whether you are in the room or online. It is just a wonder and a delight that we are together this morning. I so miss the practice that we used to have where we would turn around and greet each other, because I would really love to come down and say hello to you. I see new faces. I see people I have not yet met, and I see people I've known for 30 years. So it's a wonderful thing to be here together. But please know with me that one day we will be able to hug and say hello and, and sometimes I look at those masks and I'm saying, who am I really looking at? But what I can see is the smile in your eyes, and I'm thrilled that you're here today with us at the Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa, where we are inspired by a vision of a healthy, loving world. And we call that vision the global vision. I'll tell you all about that in a moment. But first, I want to tell you that if this is your first time here or you're fairly new to the center, please do go visit our website. That is the primary way we onboard people to learn about what's going on here, what is available, what spiritual support is here, what activities, free practice groups are here for you. There's all kinds of wonderful spiritual stuff going on beyond Sunday evening, during the week. So please do go to our website. And if you still don't get the answer you need, you can contact us. There's a contact form right there. You can find the list of all the staff's email address, and we'll answer all of your questions about what is going on at this place called the Center for Spiritual Living. Also, we are a community-supported organization. In other words, this place exists because of you. You might say it belongs to us. So we create it, we sustain it, and we maintain it through our volunteering and through our contributions of time and treasure and consciousness. And if you would like to sustain the work of the Center for Spiritual Living in any one of those ways, you can visit our COO, Linda Han, at the table, the information table, on your way out today. If you'd like to contribute financially and you're not in the room, you can do so on our website. And if you're watching on Facebook, you'll notice that on our Facebook page, after the service, you'll see there's a fundraiser there. And the good thing about that fundraiser on Facebook is that Facebook gives us 100% of the funds. No fees deducted, goes completely to the center. So you're welcome to contribute in a safe way there. Or if you're one of those people who like the ritual of contributing physically, we have baskets at the door where you can drop your contribution in. A special word of gratitude to those people who are not yet ready to attend in person and they're watching online, and yet they are continuing their loyal support by mailing in checks to us. And not only do they send in checks, but also words of encouragement and appreciation. And goodness me, we all need that right now. So thank you, whether you send in a note of appreciation or you hold that in your heart, it is welcomed and appreciated by all of us. I mentioned that we are motivated by a vision of a healthy, loving world. And this vision calls us to imagine, to see, and believe in the highest possibility for our world, where people live together in harmony, where we respect nature and all of its inhabitants, where we share resources, and so on. And we work towards embracing and embodying that vision through 5 principal practices. We call these the spiritual pillars of our community. The first is spiritual study, and that's where we learn about our relationship to the spiritual universe and expand our understanding of that so we can be more effective and thrive in this world. The second is through affirmative prayer, and in just a moment you'll hear Jennifer Mann give an affirmative prayer. We call that prayer spiritual mind treatment, and we call it that because it's substantially different from conventional prayer. It's more like a affirmative meditation on reality. The third is meditation in all of its forms. Active meditation could include walking in nature, silent meditation, meditation repeating a mantra. And if you'd like to learn and practice meditation, we have free practice groups on Saturday morning on Zoom until such time that we can be together again. The next pillar is spiritual circulation. That's where we give, receive, share, celebrate, give thanks. All of those practices that keep our hearts and minds open to the flow of the universe as it is. The next is selfless service, which I mentioned earlier on. That's the practice of giving your time to serve others without any particular reward in mind, just because it's a good and right thing for your soul to do. Now, the first pillar I mentioned was spiritual study. The director of our spiritual education is Dr. Kim Kaiser. And he has not only been the director of our community spiritual education program since, I think, 2005? I've lost track. He is also simultaneously the president of the Holmes Institute for our international movement. And that means he's responsible for the training of the ministers of our movement. And he recently retired from that position, and he had an online acknowledgement where hundreds of people from all over the movement came online to talk about how he had touched their lives in his teaching. And what I think people on that call didn't realize was that he's also retiring from this local position. So he, at the end of the year, will no longer be our director of education. Now, I don't know if you're keeping count like I am, but we've got a number of retirement parties that we need to schedule after post-pandemic retirement parties. So we will do that. We've got Reverend Joyce DeFalo, who happens to be married to Dr. Kim. She retired earlier on too. So very soon, we're going to have a retirement party. It's going to be outrageous. But for now, next time you see Dr. Kim online or here, please appreciate him along with us for his many, many years of inspiration and service to the Center for Spiritual Living, Santa Rosa. And why don't we give him a round of applause in absentia anyway? Now, having said that, I invite you to sit back and relax and let this next hour tend to your being, because I'm certain that somewhere between the music and the meditation and the message and the prayer is something for you that you've been waiting for. It's got to be, because there is only one thing going on ever, and that is the expression of the divine for your highest good. So we're going to tune into that together today. And to help us with that, our practitioner on duty, Jennifer Mann, is going to come forward and give us a spiritual mind treatment. Welcome.
This is the moment. We are the people. Join me now in affirmative prayer, where we recognize the allness and the wonder and the magnificence of the living Spirit, which resides in each present moment. So right now we arrive there, in that spot. This sanctuary that we are sharing here in the building, the sanctuary of our own home, perhaps, the sanctuary of our own hearts and minds, all connected, one to the other, hand to hand, heart to heart, mind to mind. And so I am excited about that connection, because it brings us unlimited possibility. So as we pause, as we take this pause, we bring willingness, openness, expectancy for good and more good. What a joy it is to be together in community in these wonderful ways. So I accept the blessings which are abounding right now for each of us as we pause for the guidance. What a blessing it is. I'm so grateful. I just rest there in that gratitude and release this word then to the movement and the activity of the law which manifests it and brings it into our experience. What a joy. And so it is. Good morning. I'm so happy to be here. I'm Jennifer Mann, prayer practitioner emeritus, and I would really like for you to just receive this wonderful affirmation out of our Prayers of Wisdom and Vision book for August. I take time daily to pause in the stillness and listen for inner guidance. I embrace my lighthearted and playful nature, and prayerful nature too. I re-emerge open and refreshed, and that's for you.
I tune in to the experts on all the TV shows. I read the books that tell me all the things that I should know. I ask my friends what they think of the things I'm going through. When no one knows the answer, I know what to do. I listen for the whisper deep down inside. Listen for the whisper, a strong but gentle guide, with 1,000 different voices ringing through my ear. I listen for the whisper that only the heart can hear. The other voices tell me that I'm not good enough to win the peace of mind they say that I'm not worthy of. And though they shout so loudly, sometimes I can hardly think. I know where to turn to find the source of my strength. I listen for the whisper deep down inside. Listen for the whisper, a strong but gentle guide, with 1,000 different voices ringing through my ear. I listen for the whisper that only the heart can hear. The whisper holds the answer, it's up to me to ask. I wonder why so often the thing that I do last is listen for the whisper deep down inside. Listen for the whisper, a strong but gentle guide, with 1,000 different voices ringing through my ear. I listen for the whisper that only the heart can. Listen for the whisper deep down inside. Listen for the whisper, a strong but gentle guide, with 1,000 different voices ringing through my ear. I listen for the whisper. Oh, I listen for the whisper that only the heart can hear.
Turn the mute off after you take the mask off. That's what the universe is telling me today. Hello! Can we give some love to Mr. Christopher Fritchie and the gentlemen of the band? I could not think of a better song to start us off today, because we're almost done with our month of a playful pause. And I love how we keep on mixing up playful with prayerful. I mean, it's almost like they're the same thing, isn't it? Yeah, so that's really cool. And I've been here as your friendly assistant minister now for going on 2 months, and I am really kind of, finding myself like sinking into what it actually means to be of service to this community. And I was reflecting back as I was writing this talk on what got me here. And if you looked at the talk title for today, the talk title is Guidance Positioning System, G.P.S. And it's a play on, G.P.S. We've all used G.P.S. to navigate to where we go. I don't know if people still use maps anymore. I sure hope so, because, it's a good skill to have. But, these days we all get our phones out and we use the G.P.S. and that helps us to find where we're going. And there were a lot of steps that got me to be where I am here today. But for me to figure out what those steps were, not all of it was coming from up here. In fact, very little of it was coming from up here, and that's why I'm so grateful to be here today, because I know that that whisper in my heart, that my heart can hear, that Christopher was singing about right now, that is actually what got me to be where I am here today. There were a lot of opportunities for me to ask and to hear the answer of where my path was going to lead me. Because when I started having conversations with Dr. Edward about being your assistant minister, oh boy, did all my stuff come up. All of the, feelings of, am I worthy? Am I going to be good enough? Are they going to like me? All of those things, you like me, right? Oh, okay. All of those things came up, and I had to go and find some guidance. And, luckily I had a lot of amazing friends. I had Dr. Edward, who kept on saying, I will take care of you. And that's such a heartfelt thing to say, and he has taken care of me, and I'm so grateful for that. In fact, this whole community has taken care of me, and that is something that I'm really grateful for too. But I had to find my way back to that divine center that could also take care of me, and that also knew what steps I needed to take to find my way on this path out to you. I had to ask for help, and that's hard, isn't it? In a lot of ways, our society, the social conditioning of our country in particular, really teaches us that asking for help's not okay, doesn't it? We have all of these icons in our media who sort of show up as like this loner, that we celebrate them for their lone genius. Like look back at like John Wayne, right? John Wayne's like this masculine, like really powerful figure that he does everything on his own and he's really good at it. Yeah, or you look at pretty much almost like every character that Bruce Willis has ever played. Notice that these are all men too, right? But we have these figures that show up in life, in our society, that consciously or subconsciously teach us that we have to do it alone. We have to do it alone. And that's really sad for me, because for me, that makes me feel like I am a burden if I am asking somebody for help. And what's even worse is that for the longest time, I felt like I was a burden if I asked the divine within me, if I asked God for help. And if I can't ask God for help, who can I ask for help? Right? It's really, is anybody relating with this? Yeah, okay. Some of us, courageous souls. The problem is that the longer we continue to allow this sort of conditioning to play forth in our society, the harder it is for us to ask one another for help, the harder it's going to be for us to connect through that help. And moreover, the harder it becomes for us to ask that inner guidance, that inner divine for help. And I'll acknowledge that there are some things that only we can do ourselves. Working with our consciousness, that's something that ultimately we have to do ourselves because it's our consciousness. Nobody else can interact with our consciousness other than through things like spiritual mind treatment. If we go to a prayer practitioner, they can help us. But ultimately, it's our job to work on our consciousness. It's kind of like if I were to ask, see Kevin is here with us today. If I were to ask Kevin, hey Kevin, would you go to the gym for me and do some bench presses for me and do some squats for me, and I'm going to get all the benefit for it? Doesn't really work that way, does it? It'd be nice. It would be nice if that worked that way. It'd be like, hey, Arnold Schwarzenegger, could I sign up for you to do all my exercises for me, and then I can get like really pumped up, That would be really cool if we could do it that way, but it doesn't work that way. But what we can do is I can be like, hey, Kevin, would you spot me to do these bench presses? And you'd be like, yeah, I'll make sure that your form is good. I make sure that you're being safe, make sure that you're not doing anything that's outside of your capacity, and I'll be there to encourage you and to love you while you're doing it. And that's how we can help with those kind of situations. It's not that others can do it for us, it's that we don't have to do it alone. And that's why I've loved being here so much, because one of those stories I was telling myself on the way out here is like, oh man, I feel like I'm gonna have to do so many things alone. And Dr. Edward has been there right with me for everything. This staff has been right there with me for everything. Christopher Fritchie and his band have been right here with me for everything. And I don't feel like I have to do it alone. And that's really, really powerful. That's what community is. And because we have sort of created, this society that makes it hard for us to ask for help, it means that asking becomes a very tender act, doesn't it? We have to check in and see, do we have any maybe defenses that we've put up that are preventing us from asking another person for help, or even asking that divine self that's within us for help. Brené Brown says that until we can receive with an open heart, we're never really giving with an open heart. When we attach judgment to receiving help, we knowingly or unknowingly attach judgment to giving help. Yeah, let that sink in. That's a pretty powerful and profound quote. And what that tells me is that, like so many of our other pillars of spiritual practice, asking for help is also a spiritual practice. And we can continue to do that as though we're going to our spiritual gym. And the reason that it is a spiritual practice is because it's an affirmation, believe it or not, to the laws of the universe that reflect back to us where we are in our consciousness, that we are open to receive. Because if we're truly asking for help, we have to let down our defenses, don't we? Have you ever had a request from somebody who you knew they were in their stuff and they're asking for help, and rather than sounding like a clear request for help, it sounds kind of more like a demand? Like, I remember when I was growing up, I was not the cleanest kid in my room. And the way, and this I'm not judging, but the way that, my mom would ask me to clean my room is, oh, honey, I really wish you would clean your room. It's not a request, it's a demand. And of course, me being the rebellious kid, I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to clean my room. I want to play video games. I'm just going to keep doing that. So when we really get our defenses out of the way, when we ask for help, asking for help can help our hearts to open to receive. Because when we are asking, we're telling the universe, one, there is something that I would like to have in my experience of life. And two, I am open to receive it. Because if we ask and we are not open to receive, then we're not going to get anything, are we? We're going to find ways to sabotage however that comes back to us. And that goes for asking for guidance too. If I turn within and I ask my divine self for guidance on, whatever the topic is, and I am not ready to hear it, if I have my defenses in the way, if I have my ego in the way, then I may hear an answer, but am I going to do anything about it? Probably not. And so that leads me to my second point here about asking. Asking opens us up to trust. Because we have to trust when we genuinely ask for help, don't we? We have to trust that the help that we are going to give is going to fulfill that need that we have expressed. We have to trust that the guidance that we receive, if we are asking our divine self, if we are asking a mentor or a friend for help, that guidance is our highest good. It's an act of faith to ask and to receive. And what I love too about asking is that asking is an act of curiosity. And that's a spiritual quality that I would very much like to see more of in the world. As we find ourselves in our nation and other nations talking past each other, wouldn't it be great if instead we were trying to find out more about each other and where we're coming from? If we were trying to find out what makes our hearts, our souls tick. If we're trying to find out what brings us all joy, what brings us all that feeling of being connected and feeling good. Because you know what? I am willing to bet that we are not very far apart on those things. I think we all want to feel happy, don't we? I think we all want to feel fulfilled in life, don't we? I think we all want to live a joyful and good life where we can share of ourselves with others. I think that's something that we all have in common. And asking is one of those spiritual practices that can help us to bring forth that heaven on earth that Ernest Holmes is so fond of talking about. And if I look back at that quote from Brené Brown, until we can receive with an open heart, we're never really giving with an open heart. The act of us asking, whether we're asking our divine self or asking others for help, and I would encourage us to do both, that also teaches us how to listen for others who are asking for help. And that too, especially now, as we're still figuring out this whole pandemic, I feel like that too is very, very important. Do you agree? Yeah, okay. Y'all are entranced. It's like, love it. So rather than just continue to talk and wax poetic about the power of asking, well, actually, let me tell you a little story here first before we move on this here about how I was pleasantly surprised in my practice of asking. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm still doing my work on this. I'm still deprogramming myself from our conditioning of our society that makes it really hard to ask. And so for me, asking for help, sometimes I can feel like I'm a burden. You know, does anybody relate to that? Like, oh, wow, I really feel like a burden if I have to ask this person for help. Yeah. And that's okay, you know, I mean, that's where we're at. And very recently, and I'm glad that Kevin is here today because I don't think Kevin knew he was going to be in my talk today, but hey. You know, I was moving into my apartment here in Santa Rosa, and I got my apartment, and my apartment's on the 3rd floor, and there's no elevator. And I had a whole shipping container full of stuff because I moved from a 3-bedroom, 2-story plus a basement house in Chicago to a little 750 square foot apartment here in Santa Rosa. So I had to do a little purging, and I did a little purging, but I also had a lot of stuff that I had to move in, and it's not small stuff, as Kevin will probably attest. And so I was feeling like such a burden to ask him and also to ask Jeff Basham for help, like to get up there because I thought I told him that there were 3 flights of stairs to go up and I didn't. And by the end of it, I feel like I told Kevin, like, you know, man, I feel like I really put you guys on the spot with this. And you know what he told me? Like, 1, I'm really tired. You know, let's take a break. And 2, I'm happy to help. And that was so healing for me to hear that. To hear that it was okay for me to ask that. To hear that it was okay for me to open myself up to receive that way. Because the old me would have tried to do everything by myself. And I can tell you this move, if somebody could do it all by themselves, I wanted to say, because of my social conditioning, that I would be very impressed that somebody could do it all by themselves. But when I think into it a little bit more, I'm like, no, that actually feels a little bit sad if somebody tried to carry all of that stuff up 3 flights of stairs. I mean, great workout, assuming that you don't keel over in the process. But ultimately, I feel like it's missing the point. So let's dive into a spiritual practice that I've used that I find to be really helpful. Because what I've learned over the years is that God, this universe that wants only for our good, whatever you choose to call it, that is truly all that there is. It is reality itself. It can be our G.P.S. It can guide us. It can show us where to go. It can help us when we need help. But what's really cool about the divine, about God being our GPS, is that unlike a GPS where you have to know where you're going and program it in, God knows where we need to go. This universe that wants only for our good, that is the sum total of all knowledge, all being, all knowing, all doing, it knows exactly what our highest good is, and we can always turn to it to find out. And in so doing, we build that trust muscle. We build that trust muscle to trust that life is for us, that this universe is for us. And so if it feels comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes. And I would like you to imagine an area around your life where you could maybe use some guidance. And if you can't think of anything, then maybe imagine getting some guidance about what guidance you need today. And to do this, imagine that you are sitting in a movie theater. And on the screen before you is playing a movie of this area of your life where you would like to receive some guidance. And as this movie plays before you, allow all of your senses to engage with it. What do you see in this movie? What do you hear? Most importantly, what are you feeling? And where are you feeling that feeling in your body? You may be feeling a little tension in your shoulders or in your gut. Whatever you're feeling, just know that that's totally okay and allow it to speak to you. And really get acquainted with the movie that's playing before you. And now imagine that sitting next to you, viewing this movie with you, is a being made of pure, warm, bright golden light. This being is your divine self, the God within you, the image of you as a fully evolved, perfect, whole, and complete being, free, absolutely free. And I would like you to ask this being what they have to tell you about the movie that is playing before you, and simply listen to their answer without judgment. And now I'd like you to imagine that the movie before you shifts and changes to play out as your divine self sees it. A movie of your life being perfect, being joyful, being filled with life, with laughter, with love. What does that movie look like? What do you feel watching this movie? If you felt any tension before, has that tension subsided a little bit? simply observe this movie and take in all of those good feelings and allow that movie to speak to you. And as we begin to close out this practice, I'd invite you to ask your divine self one last question. What is mine to do to help bring forth this perfect life that you have shown me? What would you have me do to allow this perfect life to be my life? Just simply listen. Now let's begin to come back to the room. Know that this divine self is always there for you, and it's always accessible. Maybe get situated in our seats, wiggle your toes and your fingers, feel what it's like to be in your body. When you feel ready, go ahead and open your eyes. You just kind of want to sigh, don't you? How was that? Good. It's really that simple. And I love that practice. And it doesn't have to be a movie. You know, if it's just you talking with that perfect version of yourself, that's fine too. But I have done this for years and years, and I can tell you the guidance that I have received is profound. And when I actually listen and follow through with that guidance, it's profound. And when I have asked for help, that help has shown up. Sometimes not in the way that I was expecting, which is what makes this practice so fun, because there's always a little excitement there with how it shows up. But it's incredibly powerful because it teaches us to trust our hearts, to trust our divine self, that part of us that is simply here for our highest good. So we have to remember to ask, and we have to listen for the times when we are asked. That divine guidance is within us, and it's all around us. You know, when we ask one another for help, we are asking God for help. We're just asking God in a human form, but it's still asking God. Our work is simply to open our hearts and to let that help in, to allow that divine good to flow through us and to guide us. And this is why we have community, so that we can share our open hearts with one another, so that we can help create a place where it is safe for us to be open-hearted. And we can help each other to learn and to grow, because it's a lot more fun doing this work together, isn't it? Amen, yes. It's especially powerful on the times when we stumble and fall, to have somebody there to help pick you up. Whether it's God, whether it's the universe, whether it's your friends, your community, fellow community members, whether it's the practitioners here. That's why we have community. And that's why it's so important for us to take those playful and prayerful pauses to simply turn within and to ask, what is my highest good? Sound good? All right, let's do some prayers. I just settle into this divine moment, recognizing and knowing that one infinite life, that one infinite presence, that one infinite power that is so big, so expansive, so everything. And I choose to call it God, and I know it is so much more than that name. I know that it is divine guidance, it is divine wisdom, it is divine intelligence. And I know that it is the very essence and nature of unconditional love. It is truly good and only good. And I know myself to be one with it, because how could I not be one with it? It is all that there is. And because I am one with it, I know that each and every beautiful person here in our sanctuary, each and every beautiful person on our live stream today, each and every beautiful person in this entire world, we are all one with this infinite divine presence. We are one with wisdom and intelligence and clarity and unconditional love. We are the very essence and nature of good. And so, knowing this deep and profound oneness, I simply claim and declare an opening of our hearts to ask when we need to ask. Whether it be asking our divine self within, or whether it be asking another person that we trust and that we love. I know that not only is it okay for us to ask for help, that it is a safe thing for us to do, and that it is a joyful thing to do, because I know that when we are asking for help, that we are affirming that divine connection between one another and between us and the divine itself. We are affirming our wholeness, we are affirming our oneness, and that is so, so good. And so I know that that opening is taking place here and now, and that there is no limit, absolutely no limit to how open our hearts can be in this world, because our hearts are that source of love, and if love is infinite, then so too is the love that we can share of our hearts. I know that we are open to give and we are open to receive, and that is good. And so I have nothing more to do than express my gratitude for this open-heartedness, for the fulfillment of this prayer, for all of this good that is occurring here and now. I am so grateful for the wholeness and for this divine community that is filled with connection. I am grateful. And I release this word into the action of the law, and I know that it does not come back to me void. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you all.
Good morning. I'm Randy Coleman, one of your trustees, and I have some announcements for you today. Registration for our fall classes is open on our website, www.cslsr.org. Early bird discounts are still available. Our core and spiritual enrichment classes are a wonderful way to advance your spiritual evolution and stay engaged with our community. Be sure to check them out today and sign up for any classes that call to you. Please note that our new member class that was scheduled for today has been postponed. We will provide more info on when we plan to offer this class again once the info is available. We do have an open part-time position on our staff for an education coordinator. If you or someone you know is interested, please email Chandra Farnsworth. You can find her email and details about this position in today's Sunday Bulletin or on our website. Tomorrow afternoon, those of us who are a bit older have an opportunity to join Reverend Joyce Kinzel in conversation about this time in our lives. The third act is on Zoom at 1:30 p.m. Our Board of Trustees meets this Thursday, August 26th at 5:30 p.m. Except for executive sessions, the meetings are open to the public. The meetings are held on Zoom, and you can find details on our website. Finally, we have a number of open volunteer positions now that we're back to having 2 in-person services. Volunteering is one of the most amazing ways you can share your love with the center. For the past few months, we've had a wonderful core team of volunteers who have helped us continue to offer classes, workshops, and Sunday services, and they're looking to expand our body of volunteers. Now, Reverend Russ has asked me to share a little bit about my volunteer experience. I got started with an invitation to join the welcoming team and ended up being a front door greeter and just doing whatever was needed to make folks feel glad to be here. Then we went into the pandemic and I became a virtual greeter online and helping with that whole effort. And sometime during the pandemic, I was invited to apply to be on the board. And having been on several other nonprofit boards before, I realized that apparently that's my calling. And so I applied, and now I'm on the board, and it's been an amazing experience. When I was an educator, I spoke to my teachers about kids needing to have the 3 C's going on. The 3 C's are to be capable, to be contributing, and to feel connected. And that has worked for me here. It works for adults too. And so if you feel that you have something to offer or would just like to find out how to become more capable and connected and contributing here, we have opportunities. This is an invitation for you to volunteer. There's a sign-up sheet out in the lobby. There are a number of ways you can volunteer. If you'd like to be on our Sunday service team, we have openings for greeters, for basket guardians, and for parking lot setup. Some of these things have been done by the same people over and over since May, and we're really looking for some help for these folks. Stepping Stones Books and Gifts has openings for cashiers, greeters, and administrative assistants. Throughout the week, we have opportunities for inside helpers doing cleaning, organizing, and office work. And outside for gardening, there is weeding, trimming, leaf blowing, and more for all of you gardening gurus. Our audio-video team is looking for camera operators, video editors, and broadcast technicians. If you have a skill or a talent I haven't mentioned, please let us know. There's a sign-up sheet, as I said, out in the social hall. Thank you all for being here today and for being part of our amazing, beautiful, spiritual community. Have a wonderful week. Thank you.
Greetings, my name is Mohammed Jabari, Mo for short. I am very pleased and looking forward to be with you on Wednesday. I will share with you about my journey in life and how and why the Sonoma County United in Kindness project came about and what can each one of us do to become an ambassador of kindness in our communities to make it a better place to live for everybody. See you then. Thank you.
Hi, everyone at the Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Rosa. My name's Amy Miller, and I'm the Artistic Director of the Transcendence Theater Company. And we wanted to thank you so much for partnering with us so we can bring arts education to so many children within our community and throughout the Bay Area and even throughout the entire world. We are so very immensely grateful for your support so we can continue fulfilling our mission. And we wanted to share a little video with you so you can see all the great work we've been able to do thanks to your generosity. And we hope you have an amazing day, and please know how grateful we are to you.
Welcome to our field of dreams. Are you ready to have the best night ever? Over a decade ago, the idea of the Transcendence Theater Company was a seemingly impossible dream
to spread joy and upliftment around the world through the art of musical theater, education, and community engagement. We're best known for our award-winning summer musical series, Broadway Under the Stars. Our artists have performed on Broadway, toured nationally and internationally, and earned film and major television credits. But most importantly, they have a love and passion for using arts as acts of service to connect and uplift others.
Our company's mission is, through our art and our lives, to encourage individuals to commit to living their best lives ever. It's just the beginning of a vision that has the potential to inspire and touch the lives of millions worldwide. But in reality, it is in our own imaginations about ourselves that the great miracles of the future have always been discovered. And Margaret Mead said it the best: never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world, because indeed, it is the only thing that ever has.
Wow, good. For you to attend, come to Wednesday Night Live. There's no fee to attend, and you'll have an opportunity to interact with the presenter. And then the second video was Transcendence Theatre Company, which is one of our nonprofit partners, one of the 12 that we support through the year. And each month we'll bring you something from one of the organizations that we support. So I thank you, Reverend Russ, for that wonderful message. It's what a wonderful, lovely reminder to know that I have a G.P.S. system inside of me. And I'm thinking the G must stand for God, right? God positioning. Yeah, I'm going to work on that acronym. I do know that sometimes I can't find my way. And when I can't, I use the prayer practitioners. Do you know that after service, each service, the 9 o'clock and the 11 o'clock service, after each service, practitioners are on standby on Zoom waiting for you. So I challenge you, whether you do it from the parking lot on your phone or you get home and get a cup of tea, get onto our website, get the link, go to Zoom. I challenge you to contact our prayer practitioners and tell them, I'm looking for some guidance for my life, and let them do a spiritual mind treatment on your behalf. So if you cried yourself to sleep last night, or if you feel incomplete about something, or you just want to celebrate the fact that you've got an inner guidance system, please don't just leave it like that. Reach out, ask for support, and let our prayer practitioners partner with you to tell you the truth of your being in no uncertain terms. Now, something wonderful is happening to us right now. It is that thing called life. Life is in our minds, in our bodies, and in our affairs. It's what we think with, what we express, and what lives through us. With this in mind, I invite you to breathe in. And as you exhale, let your eyes close for the benediction. And know with me that you are never alone. That Spirit is right where you are. That you have only to look within at any moment to know that you're guided, sustained, and empowered by a presence that expresses itself as you in this world. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly, so that in everything that we do and say and think, we honor this presence within. And so it is. And please enjoy the closing music, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Goodbye.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so